Okay, we are finishing up really stapling in our knowledge about I, how to spell that sound and how to read it, especially in this class in reading. So we've learned that when you see an I and there's a vowel in the next one or two spots, it's going to say I. When you see an I and there's not a vowel in the next one or two spots, it's going to say I. When you see an I in the middle syllable, it's going to say I, even if there aren't two consonants after it, most of the time. When you see, you're not going to see an I at the end of words. You're going to see a Y that spells the long I sound at the end of words. You might see an IGH also spelling the I sound, the long I sound at the end of words. That's quite rare. Usually it's going to be a Y, but IGH is more common in the middle of short words that end with a T. And you have learned that, did I already talk about I in the middle? Yeah, I think so, but just in case, the confident rule, when I is in the middle syllable, it gets to say I, even if there aren't two consonants after it. And if this is all coming at you super fast, if you're brand new, don't worry, I'm going to go over it nice and slow as we go over our words today. And then we have learned that TI says shh, as in nation, and CI also says shh, as in musician. The CI is usually reserved for professions and careers. All right, should we get reading? Let me share my screen. Hopefully you can see that. If you can't, let me know. I think we got it all fixed. Oh, let me read these. I think I say frustrated, but I know it's spelled with an R. Ah, I think I might too. I might be with you on that one, Tara. And I know it's spelled with an R, but do I say frustrated or so? I might. I might be with you on that one. When I added a P to ounce, I threw in an R after the P. Do you see what that R can do? That R is just, it sneaks into our words without our permission. It sneaks out without our permission. Same with the L. And then why is AR the sound separate? Because that A is spelling the ah sound and the R is spelling the sound. I only put two letters together if they pronounce one sound, as in right? But R is two sounds, so they get two spaces. Excellent questions. All right, let's get reading. So we know what is happening in this first word. Okay, this CH is going to pronounce the ch sound. CH can spell different sounds for different languages or words that we got from different languages, but it's going to just pronounce the regular English ch sound most of the time and in all of the times in this class until I teach you the difference. And then Y at the end says I. So our word is chai right there, right? Chai. So what would your word be? Here is a digraph blend. Make sure you grab that R sound and then read this word on your own. Yep. So we have this digraph blend. Our tongue goes between our teeth and we blow for this TH. Grabbing the R and then that Y at the end says I on short words. So let me just clarify that. When you have a Y at the end of a one syllable word, it's going to say I, always. If it's the only vowel. I mean, you might see an AY like in stay or an EY as in they, but if it is the only vowel, it will say I. Okay? And Y is a vowel if it's not the first letter. So this Y at the end of a multi-syllable word will not usually say I. It will usually say E, sometimes I. But at the end of a short word, it will say I. Okay, so we have I, thry. Yeah? All right, number 2. Over here we have this IGH. I am just noticing. We're trying to teach our subconscious to recognize IGH as one unit that just says I. The GH is silent. And then this I gets to say I because of those 2 consonants after it. So our sounds are P, I, I. So lots of letters in this word, but only 5 sounds. So we have primi for that word. IGH can come at the end sometimes, usually not at the end of multisyllable words like in this one, but we're just teaching our subconscious to recognize it as a unit and not just follow the tab 2 rule for that I in that spot. But IGH will usually come in the middle of short words that end with a T. All right, try your number 2. So here we have a 2-letter consonant blend at the beginning with that R as the second letter. Make sure you grab it and then say it as those letters are meant to be pronounced. So the DR can change and easily sound like a sloppy jr. It can sound, if we're not careful, it can sound like a JR when we pronounce DR. Jr as in drum, drum. So we're working on our articulation, teach our brain exactly what each grapheme is saying, how it's pronounced. So let's maintain the integrity of each of those sounds. This I is going to be pronounced as I, it's short sound because of those 2 M's. And then this IGH we are teaching our subconscious to recognize as I. So the sounds are D, I, I. Drimai. Drimai with that hard D sound, not a J. Drimai. Drimai. Now just for kicks, what would that word have said with only 1 M? Drymai. Drymai. Same with this one with only 1 M. It would say primai, right? Brilliant. Okay. Let's do this first number 3 together, and then I'm going to send you off on your own. So let me just blow this up here a little bit more. So this first I is going to say I because of the tab 2 rule. The second I gets to say I because it's in the middle syllable. I can tell because there's a vowel before it that doesn't touch it and a vowel after it that doesn't touch it. That means it follows the confident rule. It's exclusive to I. No other vowel gets to do this. But when I is in the middle syllable, it gets to say I even without 2 consonants after it. This I does follow the tab 2 rule and say I. So our sounds are, get that R. It's the 3rd letter of a 3-letter blend, so it might be hard to hear, but make sure you grab it. S, t, I, p, I, t, I, n. St, stir, stry, stripe, stripe, stripe it, stripity, stripitin, stripitin. Now I put the accent on the first syllable because when you have a 3-syllable word, usually the first one is accented. Okay, let me just write that down for you here. Just as a review if you didn't know, a review if you did know, or just a little bit of a fun fact here if you didn't know. If you have a 1-syllable word, it has no choice, it's going to be accented. If you have accented, mean said with emphasis or said more strongly than the rest of the word. More strongly? More strong? Stronger? I don't know. If you have a 2-syllable word, that first syllable is usually going to be accented, as in angel, partner, friendship. Do you see how that first part is said with more emphasis? That's what accent means. If you have a 3-syllable word, that first one is usually, so these are all usuallys, Accented. Hamburger, triangle, hospital, stripitin. That's why I accented that first syllable. And this little mark right here, that is an accent mark. And it usually goes over the vowel. Let me make it better. The vowel that's accented in that syllable. Just for your information, if you have a 4-syllable word, it's usually the third from the end that is accented. Triangular, hospitable, okay? And if you have a 5-syllable word, then it gets a little more ambiguous because usually it's a compound word or something that follows a different kind of pattern, but it can also have that 3rd syllable from the end be accented. Let me see if I can think of an example. Inhospitable. Inhospitable. Okay, do you see that? All right, so following this pattern is going to be the first syllable accented for 1, 2, and 3 syllable words, and then 3rd from the end after that. So try your number 3 over here. There's a digraph blend right here. Make sure you grab the R. That's fun information, isn't it? That accent pattern. That's going to be a whole lesson here pretty soon. I know, so many fun things to learn about reading and spelling. All right, so this first I is going to say I. The second I is going to say I because of the confident rule. It's in the middle syllable. This I will also say I because of the tap 2 rule. So we have I, D, I, P, I, N. Thridipin. Notice I accented the I accented that first syllable. Thridipin. Thridipin. Grab that R. Make sure that your mouth forms that sound right after the TH. Thridipin. All right. Try number 4 over here, this first one, without me. Go for it. I'm not going to mark it. I'll let you do it. How can we see where syllables are? Oh, that's a whole nother set of fun facts, but I do have a module on how to know where the syllables are divided in your modules. It's called syllable division. There's one on accents, like I just showed you, and one on syllable division, so you can know when and how exactly, without guessing, those syllables must be divided. But I'm also going to teach that to you. I'm going to have a whole full class on that this summer. If you want, though, remind me next time. We might have a little bit of time that I can just give you a quick glimpse like I did right here. Okay, here we have a long I because of the tap 2 rule, a short I because of the confident rule, and another short I because of the confident rule. So our sounds are T, I, P, I, P, S, I, T. Tripipsit. Tripipsit. Pay attention to the sound and the way that you are articulating the TR. Don't let it change into a CHR sound. Try. Try to maintain the integrity of the intended sounds. Tripipsit. Tripipsit. How'd you do on tripipsit? Y, yeah, you got it? Or A almost? Did I say the last A because of the confident rules? Thanks for the correction. The last I was because of the tap 2 rule. Well done. All right, you know what? I can't wait. I'm too excited about Taryn's question. I'm going to show you about syllable division right here real quick so you can apply it to one of these extra practice words here. If you have, I'm just going to give you the basics, the bare basics. If you have a consonant, vowel, consonant, no, other way around, a vowel, consonant, vowel. So if you have a word like a vowel, consonant, vowel, like Over. That would be one sound. So here is a vowel, consonant, vowel sound. You would divide it right after that first vowel. Like that, okay? If you have a vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, you divide it between the first two consonants, in the middle of the two consonants. That would be like, well, it'll be like this one right here. We'll come to that. I can't think of a real world example off the top of my head. This is actually going to be the multitude of how you divide syllables, because you just go to the first two. So like up here, let's do this tripipsit. You find the first two vowels, okay? They're right there. And then you look at what's in between. Here is one vowel, consonant I mean. When one consonant is between the vowels, it goes to the end. So that's where you would divide that syllable. Now, you go to the next two vowels. Here is one, and then here is one. Okay, so even though this was the second vowel of this pair, it's the first vowel of this pair. You still count it. There are two consonants between the vowels. What do? You divide it between the two consonants. So that's how you know how and where to divide syllables. This is going to be the bulk. You might also find a VCCC vowel word. You just divide it after the first consonant. But this is going to be the bulk of what you'll encounter. All right, so using this, how would you divide number 2? Try it. How would you divide number 2? Oh, good one, Beverly. Yeah, so if we have a vowel and then a consonant and then a vowel, that F is going to go to the end. It would be this example right here. I should have saved this because it's so long and I want it. It's so involved. I want to spend more time on it. We only have a minute left. But I just wanted to at least introduce it to you. Like I said, there's a whole module on this in your modules for you. So how would you read number 2? This first I is going to make its long sound. The second I is going to make its short sound. So that word would say pifip, pifip. How would you divide number 3? Yeah, here's a vowel, two consonants between, you split them. This is called a closed syllable because there's a consonant closing in that vowel. This I is going to make its short sound because of the tap 2 rule, same with this one. So we have b, r, I, p in the first syllable, and then p, I, m. Bripim, bripim. Fun stuff, huh? Yeah, I'm going to leave this up for one more second here in case you were jotting that down, because that is handy to have in your notes. But like I said, it is also there for you in the modules, and I'm going to have a deep dive 30-minute class on each one, on this accenting and on this syllable division. All right, did everybody get that? That is the VCV skill I use from watching your videos, which makes life easy. Woohoo! Yay! It's exciting. I know, it is so fun, right? Welcome to being a wordie with me. Now you get to see why I'm so excited, because it can make sense. It can all make sense. It's all logical. If somebody just explains it to you, then it's just so enlightening, right? All right, my friends, have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you on Wednesday for O Month. Bye, everybody.